Welcome to In Moderation,
the show where we give you a moderate dose of info, sarcasm, and we already know we're not approved.
Hey everybody, welcome to episode 69 of the podcast In Moderation.
Bow, chicka, chicka, bow.
I don't know what it is, so I'm going to say every episode is 69, and then once we hit it, nailed it.
I'm just going to skip over 69 when we're numbering these.
I'm assuming we're in the 30s,
It's
right?
like, it's like that floor 13 thing. You just skip over
Oh, yeah,
it.
you skip the floor 13.
Yeah.
We got to be in the 30s. I don't know. Well,
We're
anyway.
in the high 30s, 37, I believe.
I see. I knew that. I feel better about myself. So anyway, we got our first returning guest. We have so many episodes now. We have a returning guest. Ella, how you doing?
I'm doing.
You're doing. Yeah.
I'm doing. I'm inside.
I'm doing is pretty much my motto for like most days. And I get through it, right? And that's what matters, right? We always say, just don't be your worst.
Yeah.
Are you your worst right now?
I mean, I'm
The
not.
hesitation there.
Well, she still said no. So we'll take that as a victory. You're not your worst, and that's what's important. That's what we always say on this podcast. Don't be your worst, and you're doing great.
That's very true. Very true.
On a scale of 10, you're not a 0.
Yeah, last time we had you on, we talked about supplements, but I'm still constantly asked all the time just about every single supplement, and you know why aren't we all taking every supplement? And oh my gosh, so we got to bring you back on to talk more of them. Rob, what do you feel? Where you want to start with this? Like, what's of all the amazing supplements that everyone should be taking every day? What's the top one you think we should start with?
Well, before we even start with that, let's just say thank you for sponsoring that 25th giveaway with the pre-workout.
I'm always happy to give away some pre-workout, especially this last batch. I'm trying to push it out of my house because it's taking up space.
Yeah, Rob's got some.
Yeah, let's just go over what you've got in here.
That's a place to start. Let's start with all the things that she feels is good enough to put in her pre-workout. That makes sense.
I mean, lots of these are pretty common ingredients. We've got the L-citrulline in here and the seed oils. Oh. No, that was the next ingredient, followed by Red 40, right?
It's mostly seed oils.
Yeah. Seed oil pre-workout.
I mean, it's mostly like you've got your nitric oxide ingredients just like to help with blood flow. Then you've got your energy or your caffeine. And then you've got focus ingredients that help with, like, I guess, cognition in a sense.
Mm-hmm. I mean, this is, I think, a great place to start because, like, you made a pre-workout, right? So, like, all right, I get asked a lot, like, what's a good pre-workout, this, that, right? When people are getting a pre-workout, what would you recommend to, like, look for? Like, you go on the ingredients, you're looking at the ingredients label. What are you looking for?
So, I guess the top 3 things I would look for would be either citrulline or citrulline, nitrosogene. Those seem to be the most common one nowadays. That's like your nitric oxide, blood flow stuff.
And blood flow during an exercise is good. Blood flow during exercise, we want that.
I mean,
preferably to the muscles, not between the legs.
Preferably to your muscles. I have noticed that, especially with people who maybe aren't super hydrated, it can just help you feel like a little bit more focused. Like you have less brain fog. So definitely like something to help with blood flow. Another thing, I guess, would be...
Well, how much would you look for in the citrulline? Say it's citrulline. How much are we looking for?
I would say between 6 to 10 grams. I feel like anything above that, really it's 6 to 8, but like anything above 10 is like overkill. Anything below that, you're like getting the very bare minimum. So like it's good, but it's like it depends on how expensive the supplement is.
I've seen a lot of them at 4. I've seen a lot of them at 4,000 milligrams or 4 grams.
Oh.
Yeah, a lot of like supplement companies, especially the big ones, will put like the bare minimum in there. Or at least if you're looking at like one single scoop, they'll have like a double scoop option just to like up the dosage a little bit. So it really depends on like Is it a double scoop formula? Is it a single scoop? Oh my god, the cat. Is it a double scoop, a single scoop formula? Is it a $35 pre-workout? Is it a $50 pre-workout? A lot of things like kind of come into
Right.
the decision of like, is this worth it or not?
Okay, so also we're looking for like a pump ingredient, as they call it, to increase, your blood flow. So like L-citrulline, something in the 6 to 10 grams, or 6,000, 10,000 milligrams. Okay, after say we find that, what's the next thing you'd say people look for?
Next thing I would say an energy source, definitely. Really fun fact about caffeine is that when you have pump ingredients alongside caffeine, because caffeine is a non-specific PDE inhibitor, which basically just means it stops these little enzymes called PDE enzymes, or phosphodiesterase enzymes, it actually helps your blood flow a little bit more. So it induces more blood flow, even though technically caffeine restricts blood flow in your brain. In other parts of your body, it will promote blood flow because of that cool little, I guess, pharmacological effect. I don't know.
I mean, that's what Viagra is a PDE inhibitor.
It's a PDE5 inhibitor specifically. Yeah. So it inhibits like specifically the PDE enzymes down there.
The PDE enzymes.
Other places in your body. Yeah.
That's exactly why I dry scrub my pre-workout before my wife and I go to bed. So after that, so how much caffeine, there's caffeine. That's not what I said is important. So caffeine, I've also seen guarana on a lot of things. What's your take on like the guarana versus caffeine situation?
That like, look she just gave.
It's like the all natural, like natural flavors, no artificial sweeteners. This tastes like sandpaper. Like, why? It's like another form of caffeine that's less caffeine.
Is it less effective than like caffeine and what it does? Like, I haven't really looked too much into it, honestly. I know it's like similar to caffeine, but kind of not also the same.
I'm pretty sure guarana is literally part caffeine. It's just not fully caffeine. So when you're comparing it to like straight up powdered caffeine, which is what caffeine anhydrous is, I mean, it literally just means caffeine, no water. It's just caffeine powder. So when you compare like guarana, which is like what, I don't know the exact percent, but like let's say it's like 50% caffeine. You're comparing something that's 50% caffeine, tastes like an herbal sandbag, to like just straight up caffeine.
I assume that's what all the natural supplements taste like anyway, like whenever it's like $60 and it's like, came straight from the Amazon rainforest, I just assume it's going to taste like ass. I'm usually right.
You're not wrong. You're really not wrong. And then on top of that, usually those supplements are contaminated with 6 other things that aren't supposed to be there.
Yeah. So guarana, caffeine, kind of depends, right? Like how much caffeine, that kind of depends on the person, right? You kind of we've talked about this before, like they recommend limiting it to 400 milligrams a day of caffeine. A lot of people go over that because you can build up a tolerance. I don't know about you guys, I like and like usually 150 to 200 milligrams in like a pre-workout. That's where I kind of feel the sweet spot is for me.
Yeah, I feel you there. It really depends on the person. As a rule of thumb, I always recommend people to like take like 1 week off a month, and it usually restores their tolerance. Mm-hmm. That way they don't need to go above 400 milligrams. Because I feel like if you build up such a big tolerance, there's a point of like breaking of like, is that like really gonna, even though you have a tolerance, it's still gonna have a negative side effect. And like,
right. And there's your sleep quality to take into account, all these different things, right?
Yeah. And especially like I've recently been like working in a cardiovascular like arrhythmia lab and like looking at how different stimulants, like we literally use caffeine to cause arrhythmias in mice.
Right.
So it's like, do you really want to do that to yourself?
Yeah. Caffeine works on adenosine in your brain, which like adenosine builds up over the day, makes you feel more sleepy, and caffeine can block the receptors for adenosine, but your brain could just like make more receptors, like if you keep adding more caffeine. So eventually you just build up this tolerance. Now the week you take off is going to suck donkey balls. Like we understand it's going to be terrible. If you've built up this huge tolerance, you have all these receptors now, and now adenosine can bind to all these receptors. You're like, holy shit, I am tired. But it will kind of reset mostly. So if you can get through even just a few days, a week is good. You can kind of resensitize yourself to caffeine.
Yeah, and even if you don't you don't even need to take a full break. You can just like slowly lower it over the course of the week.
True.
And even that would work. Or using like another whatchamacallit word come to me.
There's the stim-free pre-workouts. Yeah. I know you can use those.
Yeah, if you use something like just like a focus ingredient or like electrolytes or something that kind of gives you a little pep in your step. And that always helps.
Speaking of focus ingredients, that's what I'm interested in. I don't care about the caffeine. I want to laser focus on something.
So yeah, after caffeine, we're now going down to the focus ingredients, right?
Yeah, and there's two that I absolutely love. And in my personal opinion, I would take these just to study. It's not like a only workout sort of thing. You don't build a tolerance to it. And plus, it just adds to your overall nutrition because one of them is literally just a source of choline.
Alpha GPC? That's my favorite.
Alpha GPC and then Cognatiq, which is a patented ingredient.
Oh.
It's called coffee berry extract, but it's been found in, I believe, like 1 or 2 clinical trials to increase BDNF. And I do personally notice a difference. Of course, it's like 1 or 2 clinical trials. So like
all of these supplements generally only have, a few because just more research is needed.
Yeah. So in my I choose what I tried myself on its own, and I have Jackson do a single blinded test on me every time I have a new ingredient, so that's how I know it works.
So we'll say it again. There's alpha GPC is just the one I like. It increases choline to the brain, and I found when I take it, I do feel just like a little bit more focused. It's nothing crazy, but I can at least. It could totally be placebo, but even if it is, placebo effect is still an effect, and I will take that.
Yep.
That is fine, as long as it works. So I've bought alpha GPC just in tablet form or whatever, and I just take that by itself.
Yeah, definitely. That's exactly what I do. I really enjoy alpha GPC, and just as a little side bonus, it also helps with acetylcholine. So, acetylcholine to your muscle. So,
right.
The whole entire contraction of your muscle and the power of that kind of determined by acetylcholine. So it helps at least there too. So
yeah, but again, the research is mixed. I've seen studies where it doesn't, it didn't really affect people, and other studies where it did. So it's always back and forth. You kind of just have to try and see if I don't really take it that much. But what was the other one you said?
Cognatiq.
Q. Yeah.
IQ, basically.
Cognat. Oh, I like it.
Yeah. I will say in some of those studies with alpha GPC, there does seem to be a dose that people respond to, and then under that they don't respond to it. And I've noticed in a lot of these studies they use either 50% alpha GPC and they'll dose it to a higher degree to make sure people have an effect. But if another study was trying to replicate that study and they used a lower dose, trying to see if there was a minimum,
okay, I see,
they would be using a little less because they don't realize it's 50% or something.
Got it.
But that's another thing.
What is the dosage that you would say is generally that you would recommend?
If you're using 99%, then I think it was 200 to 250 is fine.
Yeah.
If you're using 50%, you want to get 200 at least. So let's say you're using 50% alpha GPC, you would want to have 500 milligrams of that instead of 250.
Okay.
So that was something I remember reading about, because there's a few studies where they're 250 milligrams of alpha GPC doesn't work, but here in the methods it's 50% alpha GPC. And I'm like, yeah, no shit.
Got it. Okay. Yeah, that's what I like. So I mean, those are the kind of the top 3 things for you. So you've got your pump ingredient, you've got your some type of stimulant, caffeine, guarana, meth, whatever's in there, depending on where you live and what's legal. And then you have your focus ingredient, cognate IQ. What's that from?
Now what's the bonus ingredient?
The bonus, yeah, exactly.
The bonus ingredient.
Listen, it's basically unregulated, right? You don't know what's in there. It could they want to give you a real workout. Holy shit.
Pretty much. I mean, it is a patented ingredient, so it's a little more regulated, I guess.
Okay.
Rather than like the other, like just straight up powders, like you just get ashwagandha from some shady Chinese manufacturer.
Right.
Yeah.
Ashwagandha, man. Why do that one is a huge one. I see it in so many things. I saw what's it? Chuck Norris recently was like, I'm getting older and this is what I do to be focused. And it was like, and it was one of those like, prop blend things, but it was like ashwagandha was like the main thing. And then of course it's always turmeric and I don't know, fucking ginger and bat guano or whatever, whatever fucking shit.
It's probably common just because it's easy to get cheap stuff from China.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. I'm sure you sell that for $30 a bottle. You're fucking making a killing.
You're making bank.
I thought that was my alarm for a second. Was that bird? I was like, is my fucking alarm going off? What the hell?
Oh my god. I actually did reach out to a Chinese manufacturer for to see how much ingredients were over there, and I was trying to get
how much was it? How much was it for? I want to know.
So for lab grade cordyceps, it was like $13,000 for like a little pouch this big, but for like 0.01% cordyceps, like 0.01% of the active ingredient, just to put that in perspective, you would have to have over like 10 grams to get the effective dose.
Dang.
That was like $2 for like freaking 2 pounds.
Oh, so you could say like technically it's in there. You could use it in like a blend or something. Be like, this is in there in some amount.
Athletic greens.
Athletic greens. I just did recorded a video on that shit. Like, oh my goodness, the fucking greens powders. I don't know. I don't even remember we talked about that last time, but not a fan. Not a fan.
Yeah, on my list of like supplements to not take, and I've came back on a couple supplements that I previously like really advocated for, but now I'm not as much of an advocate for it. So my selection of supplements is like pre-workout, creatine monohydrate, melatonin. I'm good.
Those really are kind of over melatonin.
Yeah,
we kind of dipped into it a little bit with the sleep doctor.
Oh yeah, we did talk a little bit of that. We kind of talked about how it's good for like decent for jet lag, kind of resetting your circadian rhythm a little bit. I just don't like it for people taking it every night because it kind of just can cover up other issues. So I say talk with your doctor and try and get to the root of what's actually going on instead of just supplementing. That's all.
Yeah, I understand that. I mean, the only reason why I take it is because I am literally staring at my bright-ass computer up until the very end of the day because I'm looking at, like, freaking protein structures and shit all the way, like, for the entire day. It's just...
the thing with it, though, we've talked about dosage, like, right, Rob? We've talked about it before, where, like, I had a patient last week who had the gummies, right? The melatonin gummies. And he took...
God.
Right. Oh, I know. Listen, but I'm at work. I can't be like, dude, fuck. Like, come on. So he took one, which is 10 milligrams for a gummy. Yes, I know. And he woke up. Well, he didn't wake up. He had trouble sleeping. And he gets up and he says, hey, like, I'm having trouble sleeping. Should I take another one of these? Would that help? And I basically had to, in a very nice sort of way, be like, fuck no. And like, even 10, I told him, I was like, 10 milligrams is like a lot. Like, 1 or 2 will
you could have just took
suffice.
A little piece of that gummy.
You could have taken a foot. It was like gummy bear. So you could have just taken his little foot and eaten that, and you would have gotten the same effect. So, but that's what people do. They take the 10 milligrams and they're like, oh, it's not working. Let me take another 10. I'm like, that's not how this works.
I mean, that's what I'm not necessarily an advocate for like that. In fact, I'm an advocate for the opposite. I usually recommend like the maximum dose being 3 milligrams maximum, like, and that's like jet lag. That's like what I recommend for jet lag. For like just the normal person trying to go to sleep, I know this 1 milligram like melatonin, it's third party tested, all that yada yada yada. That's what I take, and I sometimes don't even take it. I'll take like.
But most of them are like 5 to 10 milligrams. That's what I noticed. Like when you just buy them at the store, sometimes 3.
It was
see 3.
hard to find 1 milligram ones.
But 1 milligram ones are tough to find because people. But to the average person, they're going to see: do I take 1 or do I take 10? 10 bigger number, 10 be better. 10 me buy. That's just kind of. I think that's just their thought process, you know.
Yep.
That's why I always like. I always try to like at least educate a little bit more on it, because I feel like it can be useful for those like who have like later work days and really do just like spend a lot of time in front of a computer. It might help them. But like if I do recommend it, it's like I'll recommend 1 or 2 brands. Like I know Renu has a fantastic like 1 milligram extended release melatonin supplement. I love that. And Thorn, and those are like the only 2 I really recommend.
Isn't Thorn like Amazon's brand or something like that?
It's like $11 and it's like 1 to 3 milligrams. It's fantastic. I've
seen a lot of places recommending Amazon's Thorn or whatever it is. It kind of sounds like a villain in a movie, in like in a Marvel. You know, we got to stop Thorn from taking over, you know, Manhattan or something like that. But like I've seen a lot of places recommending, you know, that brand.
It's very good. I like it a lot.
All right.
I've never heard of it. I don't know if it's even in Canada.
But it's Amazon.
Surprise.
Amazon's everywhere. I mean, Amazon's everywhere.
Well, Amazon's everywhere, but they have to specifically get clearance from.
I guess because fucking Canada has rules. What jokers,
rules
right? Idiots.
Rules for importing supplements. Yep.
Oh my god. I'm pretty sure last time the supplements I was trying to send over to you got like stopped or something.
Probably, yeah. Customs seized it apparently.
Oh shit, that's great.
This one got through.
I have to send over another package because I have to get rid of these boxes. It's not even funny. I'm gonna just send you a box at this point.
Let me ask you about a supplement I get asked that I've been getting asked about more and more. And I don't really know. I haven't really looked into it. I don't know if you have it. We just say fuck it and move on. HMB. HMB is something I get asked about a lot. All I basically know about it is it's like something naturally occurring from like the breakdown of leucine. Oh
my god.
That's I don't really know that much about it. I haven't really looked into it. I'm just like, but I get asked about it a lot, and I'm just like, I don't know. I haven't taken it. I don't know.
Boy. So here, actually was looking at this a while ago, so let me just go back real quick.
Yeah, tell me, because I got nothing.
So a lot of people, they make claims that it's going to have like an anabolic, like purely building muscle effect.
Right. Yeah.
Instant eye roll.
Yeah. You're gonna get better luck because HMB does come from food. You're gonna get better luck. Like I've seen a lot of people compare these supplements to like, this is the same amount of HMB and broccoli. Like, sweetie, a chicken breast has more HMB than broccoli. Just eat the damn chicken breast.
Well, because I wasn't sure, because like creatine, even if you eat meat, you generally don't saturate your muscles with creatine, right? So that's why it's good to take, you know, creatine monohydrate on top of that. I was like, I don't know what the dosage is with HMB, if like, you know, eating protein gets you to the adequate amount or more. Like I just don't know. I haven't really looked into it.
So the difference is that creatine is like a saturation ingredient.
Right.
HMB is not.
Okay.
It is like quite literally. So I actually learned about this not too long ago, of like how mTOR and how mTORC1 is activated versus mTORC2. Leucine is one of the activators of mTOR.
Right, which is why people say it's like the anabolic amino acid, like it's the most important amino acid for building muscle.
But you don't need to saturate your freaking cells with HMB to make sure that mTOR gets activated. It'll be activated regardless if you're eating.
Right, okay. That's kind of,
Yeah. So it's like, why? It's like you're supplementing with broccoli powder and not even enough of it. You're supplementing with like underdosed broccly powder.
Supposed to be
So you're saying
supplementing
as
with
long as I can
broccoli
get it for less
sprinkles.
than $50, I should buy it, is what I'm getting the gist of.
I would just buy a chicken breast from Walmart at that point. Get more HMB from that.
That was that's always been my take with BCAAs, or the branched chain amino acids, which is just like you can just eat protein. Like you don't need to take the essential, you don't take these. And same thing with EAAs, and now we've gone from BCAAs to essential amino acids, and I'm just like, just get enough protein from whatever sources, as long as it's, multiple sources or animal sources, it's fine. It's all fine.
I totally agree. There was a recent study that was like claiming that EAAs were better than protein, but then you read into it, the protein shake they were giving these people was like half carbs. Like it wasn't even fully like an actual protein shake. So
well, you gotta skew it some way to make it seem better for you if you're gonna like sell it,
Yeah, the amount of pee hacking and like
just
straight up manipulation of the literature that I've seen people do on TikTok and everywhere,
but it makes sense though, right? Because like these things are super cheap to make, and you can sell them for a lot.
Yeah.
Before we go further, for the audience, quickly tell them what pee hacking is.
Oh, so I love talking about pee hacking. Okay, so I learned this term last semester when I was working with a postdoc, and he kept on like showing me how to spot this. Pee hacking is basically, let's say you have a sample size of a bunch of people and a bunch of them drop out. Instead of redoing the study and actually like getting enough people to like account for all of the data, you just keep the people who dropped out. Let's say everybody who dropped out was in the control group, and everybody who didn't drop out was in the experimental group. Now, there is a lot more data points in the experimental group than the control group, and even if there was like no significant difference because of the people who dropped out, I can't explain this properly, can I? It's so complicated, but it's basically you're manipulating the data where there's more data points that kind of like edges the significance to make it seem more significant than it actually is. So let's say the people who dropped out didn't drop out, it would no longer be significant.
Right. You basically just use, you can take a study and you can manipulate it enough to make it seem like something is more favorable for what you wanted. And I feel like that's especially prevalent in like supplements because, exactly. There's not a lot of studies, and you can usually find enough, and you can do enough to be like, yeah, take this because it does all sorts of shit. So I don't know. I'm just, that's why I'm always skeptical on anything.
And this is why the repeatability of results is so important.
Right. But there's often like not even repeated because like there's so few studies for a lot of these things, It's like it's got like remember fucking holy shit. You guys remember testosterone?
Oh, yeah.
Holy shit. So for anybody listening, testosterone, I promise you the reason it took off is because it sounds like testosterone. That's the reason that people were like, oh, this has got to be good. But it's just, people called it like bug steroids or whatever, like all sorts of shit. And it had like a few studies in like animals that like maybe it's like anabolic and promotes muscle building. The humans tests were like almost nothing, but you found one or two, and man, shit took off, and they were selling that stuff left and right, and you couldn't get your hands on it, so they were selling. It was just a mess.
You want to know the funny part? They weren't even testing testosterone in these rats. They were testing ecdy steroids.
Was he the ecdy steroid? So there's is testosterone a type of ecdy steroid, or was yes?
Yeah.
So,
right.
Plants to grow, they need a cocktail of ecdy steroids. It's not just progesterone. So it's like saying it's literally like the BCAA protein argument. Like BCAAs alone aren't going to help you build muscle, but BCAAs plus all the other EAAs, that will help you build muscle.
Right.
And it's the same sort of thing where testosterone is like the BCAAs while the ecdy steroids is all of the EAAs together.
Okay. Got it. Because ecdy steroids, fucking whatever, man, all these fucking names. That's been around for a while, like in like muscle magazines in like the 80s and 90s, and it every so often just kind of comes back. And then I think they found testosterone, and because it sounds like testosterone, it was like, wow, oh, that sounds better. And so, you know, you could make a bunch of money off it. I mean, they were selling that shit for $50, $100 a bottle.
Oh man, Greg Doucette made bank.
Greg Doucette, you know, even Derek, More Plates, More Dates, was selling it for a while.
God, that's it. The entire thing with Derek, he knows just enough to be more knowledgeable than the general population and to sell things like testosterone, and it frustrates me to no end.
I like a lot of his stuff. I do like his like pre-workout. Like I think it's pretty good. It doesn't have fucking beta alanine, so that's really all I need, because fuck that compound. That's the itchy butthole compound. It makes just your skin and everything tingle and itch, and I hate it so much. So that's why I always bought Gorilla Mode, because I was like, it doesn't have that. It's got the pump ingredients. It's got caffeine. Okay, I'm good.
And their energy drinks are really good.
Yeah,
like,
their energy drinks are good. I feel like, I mean, for me, I think Derek on their testosterone just saw an option to make money, and it's like, it's hard for me to hate on that, because I'm like, listen, he saw how much money he could make off that, and I'm sure he made bank. So like,
definitely, yeah. I the only thing that like really ground my gears was like when he backpedaled on it for a second, and I just.
Oh, I didn't see. Yeah, I didn't really look. I don't really know anything about that.
Yeah, I don't pay too much mind to it, because it's like you gotta get your bank at some point.
Right. He has a supplement company. They're all trying to make money. I just kind of expect it from, I guess, supplement companies to a certain degree, right?
Yeah. At a certain point, like, I can see why. Like, people do, like, I've had people come into my DMs and like beg me for specific supplements.
Right.
I feel like. Exactly. At some point, if my company did get successful enough, I might be willing to bend to an extent. But it's like, how far would I be willing to go? It's like, I guess it all just depends on the person. And
I mean, there's so many 21-year-old males that just want to get jacked and will pay for pretty much anything that you say.
Anything that starts with a T and ends in sterone.
Oh,
God.
I'm going to be selling my new Trombolone. You guys, you're not going to believe it. It's going to get you so ripped and jacked. $100 a bottle.
The funniest part is that the ecti steroids that were found to work were injected. They weren't even consumed orally.
Were they? I didn't know that.
And it was like all of them, because the mice were injected. You can't really give them the pill orally. It's like
listen, I'm not an expert on like PEDs, but I know even like testosterone, when you take it, like you pin that, you inject it. You don't just like, like it's a much different, there's difference in the route it takes.
Yeah. And I mean, if you were to like orally consume testosterone, not all of it, or at least a significant amount, would not even be like used by your body as testosterone. If that were the case, then every time we ate animal products or meat, we would get like a hot dose of testosterone. But like clearly not happening, so it's like the same sort of thing with like these steroids, and it's like
interesting. But it's got steroid in its name, so it works. I love it. And now, so what's your opinion on the whole SARMS situation? Did we talk about this last time?
Pretty sure we didn't. I don't think we really dove into SARMS. We've mentioned it once.
SARMS, so selective androgen receptor modulator. Yeah. Okay. So like steroids, but not. And that's what I see from a lot of these like young males. They're like, it's all the benefits of steroids without any of the side effects. Get jacked today. That sort of stuff. Oh God. Sunday. Get ripped and jacked. Buy my, I don't know I don't even know what the fucking SARMs are. No, the Anavar's a steroid. Shit. No, I know a SARM. Listen, I can name a SARM.
YK7 is one. YK11 is interesting.
I don't know that one.
It's a myostatin inhibitor, but it also acts as a selective androgen receptor modulator.
Okay.
Not my favorite. It's all of them are so toxic. It's like
right, exactly, because you all of these you swallow, right? Like this is like orally ingested, and then your liver has to deal with it as well, which is like a big concern for me, right? Like that's very concerning.
Yeah, it really is. And then on top of that, it's like some of these kids who like I've seen like online, like just broadcast that they take it, they make it out to seem like it's like good.
Seriously,
and it's interesting.
Like I see this a lot, especially from like the young males that like, you know, this is the benefits of steroids without any of the side effects, and they really go into like, if you're not taking SARMs, you're an idiot. Look at me. And I see that's so much, unfortunately. It's sad.
And you know, that kind of reminds me of the entire like, have you guys heard of like the injectable carnitine fad thing that was going out around for a while?
No, I don't think so.
Everybody was doing like injectable carnitine. I even tried
veterinary grade carnitine.
I tried it at one point. The funny part is that I've also realized that a lot of people were not even like the people who were doing injectable carnitine weren't doing it correctly because they kept on leaving it on their counter and letting it denature and
got it,
go bad. And I'm just like sitting there like, dude, you're talking about like taking different peptides and shit, and you're leaving it all out on your counter.
But that's the thing. These kids are like 17 years old, right? Like there's so many concerns, right? Because like if you're first off, if you're young, you're still growing, and you're going to affect, you know, you're going to try and change your hormones while you're still fucking developing. That's not great. Also, you're stupid. I've been a 17-year-old male. You're dumb as shit. So like you're not gonna do it even the way it's intended, and the way it's intended is already dumb. So you're just adding layers of dumbness on top of it, and it's just like I say, just avoid all of that. Just you know, lift weights and eat protein. That's all great. Just stick with that.
Lift weights, eat protein, and
sleep. That's good. Yeah.
Creatine is fine.
Creatine, sure. There you go.
If you want to take something, take creatine, but stay away from like the injectable stuff or like peptides and shit that you have to keep in the refrigerator. Like it's.
Did you see?
You're supposed to keep in the refrigerator, but you don't.
Did you see the what was it? The fried rice. The kid that left fried rice on his counter for a week, just like, and he died. He passed away because he left his like meal preps on just his counter for 7 days, and he got really sick and just went to bed, like didn't even go to the hospital after he got sick, and he just passed away. So like when you're like, I'm saying, like, it's, you know, it's a very unfortunate circumstance, but like I think we can learn from this. Like when you're young, you do things that are just not the most intelligent, so we really stick with the basics here before we go on to anything else. Don't leave food on your counter for a week and eat it. How about that? Let's start there.
Man, there were so many things that I like. I just remember like how smart I thought I was until I like actually got to things, and it's like
100%.
How stupid you are. And it's like when you start growing older and older, it's just like you realize the Dunning-Kruger effect.
Dunning-Kruger effect, 100%. The less you know, the more you think you know. Yeah. Don't be stupid. That's why we say don't be your worst, right? Because like you're not going to be your best. This is exactly why we say just try and not be the dumbest you could possibly be, and you know, work from there.
When did you realize that you felt like you knew nothing?
Oh shit. Yeah, that's a good question. Let's see. Okay, so when I started like kind of learning about nutrition, I definitely fell into like the health culture, you know, the gurus and stuff, the Bobbies of the world, that sort of thing. And I was like, oh yeah, this is so obvious that America is poisoning our food, and it's just like all these seed oils that are causing these problems. And then I was slowly started getting introduced to people who are actually knowledgeable, like the food science babes and stuff of the world. And then I was like, oh shit, okay, let me look into this a little bit more. And then more people I started listening to. When you listen to actual experts, you're like, oh wow, so there's a lot of shit we just don't know. And so I think just from there, like I was like, okay, well, I'm just going to be okay with the fact that I don't know everything and just stick with the absolute basics, because that will get people 90%, 95% the way there if you just do the basics and you don't fucking whittle down to these tiny things that make very little difference.
Definitely agree with that. That's a really good way to look at it. I definitely fell into the trap of that too. Like just like broad spectrum, like this is bad, this is good.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh my God.
Once you're okay with being dumb, it makes life so much better. I'm telling you, like, just be okay with not knowing things, and you will feel. So I feel. Look how great I am. I'm like the most peppy person, and I don't know dick. Like, you really have to just be okay with being like, there's a lot of shit I'll never know, and that's fine, because as long as I do these core essential things, we're good. It's fine. We're fine.
Oh my
Core
God.
essential things like putting your food in the refrigerator.
Like, put your food in the refrigerator. Don't inject things into your body that you don't know really where they came from. You know, sleep and eat.
Don't inject things into your body even if you do know where they came from. Like your urine, for example.
Oh my God. Is that an actual thing?
Oh, that was Dave Asprey. Yeah.
Why?
For biohacking, Ellie, you idiot. It's about biohacking. This is how we live to 150. How do you not know this already?
I thought his goal was 180.
Well, I'm assuming he's going to come down. I'm assuming once he reaches like 80, he's going to be like, well, I might have overshot there a little bit.
Who in their right mind injects their own urine? I'm sorry. That's just like...
Exactly. We all know you drink it like a normal person. Stupid people injecting
aged.
it.
Aged like
urine,
not
urine. Fresh urine. No one drinks fresh urine, and we don't inject it. We drink it like civilized human beings. We drink aged urine like civilized human beings.
Oh my God. Yeah, the entire it's so bad. The injectable stupid shit, just don't.
I mean, yeah, there's just so much shit out there, and that's why people get confused, because anybody with a phone can, put that stuff out there and make themselves seem like an expert. I mean, how many my wife just was like, oh, like, do you see this guy? And I was like, yeah, I know that guy. I've done videos on that guy. It was it's one of the chiropractors that goes by doctor. If you ever see someone that just says that I'm doctor this and it's people? No, not different.
No?
Different. But those are also terrible. They're terrible. But like, if you ever see just like doctor in their profile and it doesn't say what they're a doctor of or anything like that, and they're giving nutrition advice, chiropractor. 99% chance that they're a chiropractor.
Yeah.
Speaking of chiropractors, I recently found out that because a family member that I have, I'm not going to name names, is anti-vax.
Jackson.
He gave me, not on Jackson's side, surprisingly on my side, but a family member is, not completely anti-vax, but kind of anti-vax to the point where it's like, I don't
diet
trust
anti-vax.
But he gave me, the family member gave me COVID. And then I ended up getting
happy birthday
and Tietze syndrome, which led to my rib slipping out. So now my rib has been popping in and out of place for 6 months.
No shit.
They didn't know what it was. And so that basically happened. And then my the same family member recommended me to go to a chiropractor to pop it back.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I don't want to yuck anyone's yum here, like if you go to a chiropractor and they help you and that's all great, but skeptical is the word.
There's certainly some dangerous stuff that some chiropractors do.
Adjusting children, they're doing neck adjustments on babies and stuff. I'm that is not. No, I would never bring my daughter to a chiropractor when she's a fucking baby. That's crazy to me.
Hell no. And I would never let a chiropractor go anywhere near my rib cage. I'm good.
So does it just float around? Because once it's that's where it's inserted. What happens?
Basically, it's the fake ribs, the false ribs. That attach to the cartilage. And what happened was either at the sternum or at the joint that connects the cartilage to my ribs, it decided to pop out. I'm pretty sure it was at the sternum because I can feel it there primarily. If it was at the ribs, it would be a little more serious. But basically, it shifts in and out, and it hurts to take deep breaths in on one side for some weird reason. But yeah, it's been I can't do some exercises, and it's the worst thing on the planet.
Yeah, that's.
But I'm getting surgery on.
I was going to ask, like, are they just going to go in there and just be like, let's just shove that right back in there? That's fine.
Yeah, so their theory was that due to COVID, it caused inflammation, or like some sort of like it irritated my rib cage. From
Well, did you stop eating seed oils when you had COVID? Because obviously that added to it. Jeez, be careful.
No, instead you put them in your pre-workout.
The funniest part is I don't even really eat seed oils. I have like canola oil spray at best. But like, it's anyways. So basically, that's their theory: is either I coughed and it slipped out, or my rib cage got inflamed due to COVID somehow. There's a few like reviews, like case studies on it that I remember reading about. But long story short, they're gonna take like some wire thing and wrap it around my rib cage and put it back in place, and that's the plan with that. But it fucking sucks because this all could have been avoided, everything. But yeah.
So it just floats around your body now like a uterus. Which anyway, yeah, the reason I say that, because recently I did a video and there was this like selling what you call the pink tax. So you know the pink tax, they sell things, make things pink, sell it to women, charge more. And so that someone made a comment about that on my video, and I was like, oh yeah, like they used to believe that the uterus just wandered around the woman's body, and I was like, that's the greatest idea ever. I don't know why I love that, but that it just kind of like floats around and then like goes to where it needs to when it does. And yeah, the wandering uterus was a real it was like, you know,
yes, it was.
Oh yeah, who's the first doctor? Like wasn't he famous for like the first Hippocrates? I think was like famous for that. I think
yeah,
I think Hippocrates was
Hippocratic oath comes
from.
Right, Hippocrates, yeah.
You know what that reminds me of? Have you ever seen walking kinesin proteins before?
What now? Huh?
So there's these little motor proteins that basically walk along microtubule filaments inside of your cells. They're so cute. I just have to send you guys a quick.
Yeah, it sounds like something would be great for what's Hank Green's channel, like whatever their science channel thing, whatever it's called.
But they're so cute. I've never like, oh my god, I'm so stupid. I didn't really realize what they were until I started getting into like actin polymerization lately, because I've been studying a protein that's involved in that. But it's a very cute little fellow.
Everything gets quiet as we now watch this.
Yeah, now we got into that. And I was also looking up the uterus thing. And now, yeah, it goes into hysteria, which is hilarious. If you've never looked into the history of hysteria, you absolutely need to. It's amazing. Humans are great. That's basically the TLDR.
Humans are interesting creatures.
Okay, it was an ancient Greek belief that a wandering uterus needed to be confined and controlled, caused women's health problems.
What the fuck?
Yeah, so it's great.
When you said wandering uterus, I just thought of the kinesin protein. Or kinesin protein. Just like walking
This
around
thing looks like a toy from the 90s.
I know, it's so freaking hilarious.
Well, so yeah, that's what's important about supplements, is the wandering uterus and wandering proteins. That's what that's the biggest takeaway.
So what supplements should we be taking for our wandering uteruses? Uteri?
Uteri. It's the uteri. Duh. Oh shit. Well,
I gotta say, it's so. What do you think of the pink tax? I'm kind of curious what you think of it. It doesn't bother me much because I just buy men's products.
Yeah, that's what I got from a lot of comments on my video. Is like, I just buy men's razors or deodorant or whatever it is, because it's just more. I saw stool softeners. They have women's stool softeners. What? Yeah, it's specifically for women, because you don't want the men's soft stool. You want women's soft stool. It costs more. It's great. Like it's I would say it's probably, well, yeah, I mean, I don't know, like it just kind of sucks. Like a lot of things for women just seem to be worse. Like, you know, their pants don't have pockets. Like I would be pissed if I put on a pair of pants and it didn't have pockets or like tiny pockets.
Or fake pockets.
The fake the fake pockets, get fucked. Anybody who makes a fake pocket, like I hate you. Like why? Right? It's just worse than not even having one.
Oh my god, I have actually a very funny story about that. So my lab coat has fake pockets, and I didn't realize the first day that I was there.
In a lab coat.
We were doing a Western blot, and I had like kumasi, which is basically this dye, and I had like a little vial of it. It was like mixed with a bunch of other stuff, and I decided to put it in my like pocket for a second, and it dropped right through.
Oh shit!
And it spilt, and it was blue dye that doesn't come out very easily.
And whoever made that piece of clothing, fuck them, right? Like you don't like. Why would you get fake pie, especially in a lab with like lab equipment? That's fucked.
Yeah, it's not fun. They're literally like holes in the lab coat. I'm like, why can't they just be pockets here? Like I've dropped my phone through the freaking holes like 3 times by now.
Yeah, that sucks. Well, anyway, I guess before, like, because we're coming up on like an hour here, before we leave, let's run through some like quick supplements that we get like asked about a lot. I'm curious to like your thoughts. All right, let's go. Like multivitamin. What do you think of the multivitamin? I get asked about that a lot.
Overrated.
I definitely think it's overrated. Like if you have a real shit diet, like you're just like you eat French fries and like chicken nuggets and that's like all you eat, then yeah, maybe it could be beneficial. But like, just try and eat different foods.
If you're gonna take a multivitamin, because some of the multivitamins, they don't even like really cover all of your vitamins completely.
Sure.
Like some of them, they're like they don't fully dose all of the vitamins that you need for the entire day. If you're deficient in a vitamin, just supplement with that, and like ask your doctor about it or your dietitian.
All like the meta-analyses show, like there's really no like longevity benefits to multivitamins. It's just like I just don't. Okay, so multivitamin overrated. What about fish oil? Always get asked about the fish oil.
Depends if you need it. Do you need omegas in your diet? Are you eating a really low-fat diet?
Yeah, I guess if you were eating like really like you'd have to have a very I feel like you'd have a very specific kind of odd diet in order for it to be beneficial. Plus, like have been some studies showing it causes possible arrhythmias, and that might just be due to like tainted supplements, because that's always a possibility.
Oh, yeah, a lot of the more recent research is like, yeah, these things aren't that great.
So fish like and the fish and these omega-3s are very fragile, so like transferring them to a supplement is just not the great thing. And then they're in the shelf on this pill for a while. Like just try and eat a fish, like, or chia seeds, flax seeds, like all those. That's walnuts. That stuff's great. Okay, but what about what's the one I always get asked? So the fish oil, multivitamins. What else do we always get asked about? What?
Tell us your thoughts on Sheila Jeet.
Sheila Jeet. Oh shit.
Oh, you mean Sheila shit?
Sheila. If you take Sheila Jeet every day, this is what happens to you. You become a superhero.
You're eating a fucking mountain.
But it's got 100 minerals that your body needs, or whatever.
There aren't even 100 minerals.
No, there's not. There's like 10 or 20 or something. Like there's not.
No, that's even more than overrated. That's just like dumb.
That's
like
a scam.
I can see like a bodybuilder eating a super low fat diet benefiting from like a high quality fish oil. Maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
Like that's a very high big maybe. Like I still think they're overrated. I think you should just get it from your diet and like call it a day.
Yeah.
But like Sheila shit, no.
No.
Just no.
Just no.
Some of the okay, let's go to the ones that like think maybe are possibly beneficial, like your vitamin D's. Like, what do you think? Like, what are your thoughts?
For Michiganders, yes. If you're in Michigan, please take vitamin D because you get no sun.
I mean, in Ohio,
including
I
those
work
north
nights.
of Michigan. Looking at you, Canadians.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I'm here in Ohio, winter, fucking no sun. I work nights. Like, yeah, I don't get out in the sun very much, so could be beneficial. And then the fiber supplements. Anytime I talk about fiber, they're like, no, I don't want to eat real food real whole foods, I should say, because that's stupid. I just want to take a supplement. What are your thoughts on the supplement of the fiber?
If it's like, I use powdered psyllium to make my like pancakes and like my pudding, so like. That's the only way I can justify using a fiber supplement. Like if you're drinking it with water, what the fuck are you doing?
It's convenient. It's simple. Like
it's convenient, but tastes like literal slime.
It doesn't taste great. No. Yeah, I just made these immunity shots. Look at these little guys. They taste awful. It's ginger and lemon, and I did it for a video, and it tastes rough. Let me just put it that way. It tastes
so bad you didn't finish them.
I did not finish. No, there's still plenty in there. I took one sip and put that shit down. So fibers.
That's so crazy.
Fiber supplements, if you're not getting enough and you refuse to get it from foods, or you can't get it from foods for whatever reason, then yeah, sure, you can supplement if you want, just not as beneficial.
Do you have any thoughts on GABA?
GABA. I actually don't like GABA. There was something that I remember reading about where it has a very bad effect on like a certain receptor in your brain. Don't ask me the specifics. I don't know it off the top of my head. I'm not a neurologist, but I remember hearing something about it like down regulating a certain receptor and being not good for you, especially for sleep. I feel like you would know. I
haven't really looked too much into the taking that at least as a supplement. I'm not sure.
I just remember hearing that it had a negative effect and like down regulated something in your brain.
I haven't seen it.
Like I remember hearing it somewhere. I would need to do more research, but based on what I've heard, I would say overrated.
As are most supplements. Any other ones you think are worth the money? Let's just put it that way.
Magnesium.
Yeah, I could see that. If you're not getting enough from food. What? Okay, fine. What type of magnesium? Since we always get fucking asked every time. What form?
I don't give a fuck.
No, yeah, there's
magnesium. It's hard to get magnesium in your diet. At least
whatever magnesium doesn't give you shits.
There you go. Let's just put it. That's a good way. Try different ones. Whatever doesn't make you shit your pants, that's the one you should go with.
I actually like the magnesium citrate for that. Just it helps keep you regular too. So.
Dual purpose.
Hey, if it works for you, go for it.
That way you don't have to take the ladies' stool softener. You can just take some.
That's one that I would be very wary about. Senna. Don't take Senna. Please. It makes you addicted to it basically. It's a stool softener's worst. It's like somebody who has constipation's worst nightmare because it makes you hooked onto it. Have you ever
for the people selling it, that sounds great.
It was like melon something coli or whatever.
Oh, no.
Melanosis coli, I'm pretty sure. Or was it? Yeah, melanosis coli. It's like a non-inflammatory condition of the colon. It occurs after taking laxatives like Senna. It makes the inner part of your colon dark and smooth. It basically weakens the smooth muscle and makes it so that way you need to use Senna to go to the bathroom. It's so bad.
Oh, geez.
Okay. Interesting.
The only reason why I know that is because my mom used to take Senna and asked me why she was always constipated when she wasn't taking Senna.
Yeah. So basically just err on the side of caution with supplements and always try to do what you can.
Well, I saw Jackson sneaking in the back there. What's his favorite supplement?
That's a good question. I'm pretty sure his favorite supplement is not necessarily it's not really a supplement. It's more of a medication.
Is it ice cream? It's ice cream, isn't it?
He enjoys tadalafil for not the actual prescription.
Sure. Yeah. No, I've been there where I say that for sure.
He actually uses it for his workout, which is
I've heard of that.
Get those the Viagra Cialis pumps.
Yeah. So that's
Yeah.
I think it's Cialis's generic, or is it Viagra's
Cialis.
Cialis generic? Yeah. One of those.
Viagra's is sildenafil.
Okay. Yeah, I don't remember that one. I don't know. I only took Cialis.
Yeah. So that and caffeine.
Caffeine. There you go.
Those are his two favorite.
I thought you were going to say MK677. What is it? What is that? What's the stuff?
We both hate that. We hate that. I despise it.
What's that? The growth hormone secretagogue. It's not even like a SARM. Apparently it's supposed. I've never taken it. It's supposed to help increase the amount of human growth hormone you release.
Oh my god, it's so bad. It's not even really like just for growth hormone. It mimics ghrelin, so it makes you hungry.
I was gonna say, doesn't it make you super hungry? That was the other thing, is it makes you super hungry.
From what
That's good.
From what I've remember reading about its pharmacokinetics, it's just like hunger.
Yeah. So don't recommend.
People, if you're gonna go enhanced, just do the steroids.
Honestly, if you were gonna go like the enhanced route, I think you're just better off just going like testosterone, just taking if you can get it, just like, there's like the testosterone replacement like that. I think has definitely efficacy, and I get that, but like all this other shit, these like end arounds that people are doing, it seems
it makes
sketchy.
No sense. Like, just take the real stuff if you're gonna
yeah.
If you're gonna do it, just take the real stuff.
Yeah, I'm not saying I recommend it, but like, hey, you talk to your thing. But
if you're going to do it, then testosterone. We know what testosterone does in the body.
Little fun fact about like the whole testosterone stuff. Synthetic testosterone, or at least from one source of it, is from yams, from what I was reading. And I paid for it and saved the paper explaining how to make synthetic testosterone because I was interested.
Interesting.
That's weird. Yeah, I've never heard of that.
And it's specifically a Mexican yam. If you've ever seen it, they're the most X-rated yam I think you've ever seen in your life, because it's this white, slimy, gooey, translucent-y yam.
So what I'm getting from you is we should buy them, put them into pill form, and say that it'll increase your testosterone. That's what I'm getting from you. And sell it for $20 a bottle.
No.
Oh, okay. Oh.
But I
but
would,
we could call it Yambalone.
Interesting.
Yambalone, dude, we've got it, man. Listen, we're learning so many ways to scam people. I love this. Get our water or whatever it was, our dragon water. I don't remember. And we'll go back and look that one up. And then Yambalone. Just take these yams, put them in a pill, say like it mimics testosterone. Boom.
We're going to be raking it in.
So,
dude, have you gotten the new Yambalone?
this yam is in the same like family. It's extremely slimy. It looks R-rated. It doesn't look like it should be a yam.
I've never heard of this.
I'm gonna send you guys a picture because it's quite. It looks like a yeast infection. I'm gonna be honest.
Oh, good.
It looks like what's it called? Let me just look it up. What is this? Mexican yam? What is this?
Here, I'm sending a picture, the best picture I could find, into the group chat. People are gonna be asking what the fuck is going on, but that's okay.
That's a yam?
That's grated mountain yam.
It looks kind of like cheese. It looks like some kind of weird like cottage, like you blend up cottage cheese, kind of grainy.
Yeah, like a yeast infection.
Yambalone coming to you soon from In Moderation. So if people want to learn more about how to increase their testosterone through various other means, where can they find you?
Okay, on Scientific Snitch and I believe it's also Scientific Snitch on YouTube. At The Chemist with an X on YouTube, Scientific Snitch on TikTok, and the same thing as YouTube, but with a period in the center. I'm still trying to figure out how I'm going to I don't understand.
At The Chemist with an X. At least it's not
I'm right
at The
there
Chemist
with you.
triple X.
Hey, yours is easy. It's just the plant slant.
Yeah, well, you know, I mean, still like, but I got like underscores and shit in my Instagram. I don't know, man. It doesn't matter. It's all fine.
Just look up scientific snitch and you should be fine.
There you go.
And if anybody wants to find your pre-workout,
it is the XHEMIST.com. There, that's a way to plug myself.
Spell it out.
But thank you guys for having me on again. I appreciate it, and I'm sorry for the last. I think I didn't realize what day it was. I got thrown into the deep end with my PI and my crazy PI. So yeah.
And listen, we don't know what's going on half the time here anyway. We just throw shit together and hope it works. And so far, it's been going fine. So we just roll with it.
I don't think we need to hear about your private infection.
Private infection. Oh shit.
Hey, wasn't that a great time? Listen to the podcast. You were just, I'm assuming you were just listening to In Moderation. So if you go ahead and hit the 5-star button, is that a thing? The like button?
That's a thing.
No.
Yeah.
The like button
5
on YouTube.
stars.
If you're on YouTube, hit the like button, not the dislike button. That's a bad button. The
Bad
like
button.
button.
Don't
Bad button.
touch.
Hit
Don't
all, so
touch
hit
it.
all the other buttons, the share, you can go check out
all those things.
subscribe. Go check out our Patreon.
Yeah.
We do have a Patreon. It's free to join if you want, or you could give us some money. That'd be really cool, like $1 or $2. It doesn't matter. Whatever you have.
That's where you'll find all the news for this.
We're super appreciative. You can find all sorts of other stuff there. We do giveaways, I think, sometimes,
Sometimes.
all that good stuff. Yeah, absolutely. So, peace.